right, so I hit that live button. We'll see if we're actually going live. Give it just another couple of seconds. We'll see what happens. And looks like we got Mr. Black Screen again. I don't know why that is. So, see if that does anything. Why do we have the black screen? I don't know. Because I'm seeing myself on the StreamYard there, but I'm not seeing myself on my phone. That's an odd thing. So I don't know what's going on. There we go. There I am. I'm a little fuzzy. I don't mean just the beard either. I probably need to shave my head again soon too. So Blue White Mario says, "Sorry, I'm not talking today." Well, you just talked, so that's confusing. but it's good to know you're here anyway. So yeah, it's a little late for me to be getting started on this, but I like way overslept today. I like usually like I'll wake up around like, maybe like 2 or 3 and eat some food, go run some errands, come back, shoot a video, and then take a nap. But I woke up so late today, I'm like, nah, I'm not taking a nap today, because if I took a nap today, I'd have to like, take a nap as soon as I wake up, and I'm not doing that. So yeah, it's getting off to a little bit of a late start today. But today we've got to open up the G.I. Joe Classified Series Grim Viper, which I saw this and I'm like, that's a range Viper. I mean, look at the helmet. That's a range Viper helmet. And I went to look up this character online because this is a new character. So I wanted to know a little bit about him. And it turns out he is supposed to be a troop builder. But I don't think I'm going to use him as a troop builder. But this guy was supposed to be like an elite version of a range Viper. A range Viper, but better, basically. And I am going to, on purpose, pull out this stupid little piece of paper that's always falling on the floor every time I do one of these. Bobby Wald is here and says, I want to find a hooded cape for the Grim Viper that make him look like that one Terminator with a minigun from Salvation. You know what? I've actually got over here a hooded cape. This is the one that came with the Necro Conda, the Necroconda from Masters Universe Origins. So I'll put that on him. We'll see what it looks like. So anyway, so here's the picture of him on the back with the big old minigun. Some close-up details of said minigun. And you see where his backpack attaches in. So I never had the original range Viper. This was one that, for whatever reason, was off of my radar when I was collecting the vintage G.I. Joes back in the day. But I did have the Rock Viper version 2, which for some reason was a repaint of the range Viper. Why they didn't just call that one a range Viper, I don't know. But that one was called a Rock Viper for whatever reason. And I thought that figure was really cool. So this one actually has something a little more in common with that, because the skull faceplate is painted kind of a grayish off-white like that one was. So, and then I wasn't able to get the original range Viper when they put him out in the Classified series, because he was, a Walmart exclusive, and a very badly distributed Walmart exclusive. Usually I don't have too hard of a time finding the Walmart exclusive figures, but in this case, he was just impossible to find. Couldn't find him on the website, couldn't find him on the app, couldn't find him in the store, never saw him. And he's ridiculously expensive now, so I didn't get him. But this guy looks like he's got, I think that's the same backpack that the original range Viper came with, and it looks like he's made on the Roadblock body. I've got Roadblock over here, so we can we can compare and contrast. There's the combat roadblock. I think that's what do they call him? The heavy combat roadblock. But I gave mine the mod deuce, and the barrel got a little bent up there. I'll try to see if I can straighten that out some. I gave him the mod deuce that came with the action soldier, so he now has his proper weapon. Originally, roadblock came with the same minigun that this guy comes with, which is not a bad accessory for roadblock, but it's not as good as mod deuce, is it? So let's go ahead and open them up. Oh, we should look at the portrait on the side here with the minigun. He's figure number 176 in the G.I. Joe classified line. There's those little esoteric symbols. I have no idea what they mean. So let's go ahead and get on with it. So looking at his accessories, he's got a couple of knives and a sidearm and a backpack and a Gatling gun, a minigun. So let's go ahead and get all this stuff out of here. One knife is smaller and the other knife is much larger. This is like, I would call this a Bowie knife. It's so big. So there is the Bowie knife. And little teeny tiny knife. Actually, it's not that tiny. I've seen smaller knives in this line before, but compared to that Bowie knife, it looks pretty tiny. And then he's got a sidearm, little automatic pistol with an extended clip. So there's that. So a number of little accessories and a backpack and one big honkin' accessory. Now, we've seen this minigun a few times before. This is the one that comes with the ram cycle, and it came with the heavy artillery roadblock. I think that was what he was called. And it's come with a few other figures since. But there's that. It's got some flames painted on the side, and it's got some little tally marks on there, so he's keeping track of how many Joes he's killed. So there we go. And sometimes I notice this minigun has a problem with the barrel being kind of bent up, but it looks like to me like this one they've corrected that problem. So not all of these. Sometimes I see them with a crooked barrel, but it seems like at least recently. I want to say like the last couple of these that I've opened up, the barrels have been fairly straight. And then the backpack, and like I said, I'm pretty sure, even though I don't have a Rock Viper because it was badly distributed, or Range Viper, I'm pretty sure that's the backpack that came with the original Range Viper. It looks like the one that came with the vintage figure anyway. And then get this guy out of here. And he's a big dude, like I said. He looks like he's wearing, underneath the vest, a t-shirt. That might be Stalker's torso. So he's not quite as tall as Roadblock, because they use that Stalker torso. But you can still see he's still pretty tall. And to compare him to a more average-sized G.I. Joe, we got Shockwave over here. And you can see he's a little bit taller than Shockwave. He's about as much taller of Shockwave as Roadblock is of the Grim Viper. But he's still above average height. Honestly, he's as tall as Leatherneck should have been. At least. So maybe swap some parts out with him and Leatherneck to get him to be the right height again. And it looks like these are the same arm guards from the Cobra Viper. So, and then I'm pretty sure these arms are just Roadblock's arms again. He's got nice muscular arms. And, you know, they're painted in a camouflage pattern with like a brown patch underneath here. So I think the intention is it's supposed to be like an Under Armour type of shirt. But you could also pretend like he's just got like camo paint on him. So, but yeah, mostly looks like it reuses the Roadblock arms, and these legs are different. I don't think the legs are maybe quite as tall either. I don't recognize where these legs are from, but they're probably reused from something. They might be from like the Snow Serpent or Snow Job or something. I don't know. They look kind of familiar to me, but I can't quite place them. So the way his vest is set up is you've got this, separate plastic vest over the torso, and then he's got, the kind of rubber trunk piece. It almost looks like, though, that this is supposed to be an extension of the vest underneath the belt. I don't know. Bobby Wald says, do you have a way to contact Lone Dragon outside of YouTube? Because I can't give him my contact info and I have an extra range. Oh, he's going to get the extra range Viper. Thanks. He's on Instagram. I know him on Instagram. I think he's just called Lone Dragon on Instagram. Let me check real quick. But yeah, if you're on Instagram, you can get him on Instagram. Hang on a second. Actually, I think it looks like he sent me something. I'm so bad at checking my messages. It's probably memes. He usually sends me memes. It's got a picture of Subotai, and it says, during labor, the pain of childbirth is so great that a woman can almost imagine what a man feels when Subotai cries for Conan. Let's see. No, I'm talking for you. I already have contact info outside of YouTube for Lone Dragon. Well, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. So there's those, and I'm also on X, but I don't get onto X as often as I wind up getting onto Facebook and Instagram. And even then, you see, I'm bad at like checking my messages on Instagram. But just look up Alan Belk on Instagram, and you should find me. It's or Belk Allen, I think, is my actual screen name. I don't know. That's the one that you're just on Discord with Lone Dragon. Yeah, well, do you have X? Try me on X. Like I said, I don't get on there as often. I don't post on there hardly at all. I mainly just use X to communicate with people that I know that are on X. So, but yeah, it should just be Alan Belk on X as well. I'm not too creative when it comes up to coming up with screen names. Oh, damn it, I dropped him. So, but yeah. Yeah, like those are probably the best way to get a hold of me if you want to try to get a hold of me outside of YouTube. Where did he go? That is a huge action figure. I've dropped stuff down here and lost it before, but it's usually like teeny tiny little things. I've never dropped an entire gigantic action figure down here. It's like he fell under the couch, but he would have fallen like way deep under the couch if that was the case. Where did it go? That's what I want to know. All right, let's see. There we go. He fell in the box. Okay, that's fine. All right, so I'm not on Discord. I'm on my social media is like basic bitch old man stuff. So I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram and I'm on X. That's what I'm there for. But like we can probably figure out some way at some point. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. So I know like YouTube used to have private messages on it like way back in the day, but it hasn't in a long time as far as I know, which is too bad because that would come in handy right now, wouldn't it? Yeah, it sure would. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the articulation on this guy. So you can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders, those big old muscular arms. He does have the butterfly hinge, so it goes back and forth like that. You can rotate the bicep all the way around, so that's good. Got double jointed elbows. That's about the range of motion you get at the elbows. He does have torso articulation underneath this vest, but the vest is going to hinder it somewhat, but not as much as you might think. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the stalker torso underneath. I think I would have rather they probably just make this guy like a big. I think this might be a Saw Viper vest now that I'm looking at it. I think this might be they reused the Saw Viper vest. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that's the case. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So the waist rotates all the way around, wobbles back and forth, frontwards and backwards. It's like the old school 1980s G.I. Joe articulation. It's not an O-ring, though. It's just a ball in a socket, but it still kind of gets the job done. Yeah, like I do think, having looked at it, I do think that the arms are kind of slightly disproportionate to the body now that I'm really looking at it. And maybe it's just because it's that stalker torso, but it's just kind of I don't think it's going to matter once we get him geared up. It's just kind of barely off, though. It's off enough that I can notice it. And I think even if I hadn't known what parts they are, I still would have been like, his arms seem just like a little bit too big, just a little bit. But whatever. Like I said, this guy is supposed to be a troop builder, but I don't think I'm going to use him as a troop builder in mine. I'm going to consider him a unique character. He's one that came up the ranks of the range vipers, like the most badass of the badass range vipers. And now he's like, I guess, like the range viper, leader. That's his squad or whatever. So, yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him. So, anyway, Grim Viper can kick up about that far. He does have that cool drop down G.I. Joe classified hip articulation, so that helps out with that. So that's nice. He can do the splits no problem. You can rotate him all the way around. There's a thigh cut there, so that's cool. And then double joint knee, that's about the range of motion you get in the knee. Good range of motion at the knee. And then boot cuts, the boot rotates all the way around. Foot points down about that far. Foot points up about that far. And the foot rotates all the way around where the foot meets the ankle. So there's that. That's the articulation out of the way. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of this guy's accessories. And like I said, he's got this automatic pistol. And if I can get the finger in the trigger guard, there we go. That is what he looks like holding the pistol. So pretty cool. And he's got a holster on his right hip. The pistol should go in there. And it fits in there relatively snugly. It doesn't seem to be like it's the snuggest of fits, but it does fit. And then he's got this smaller knife. Let's put it on his hand first so we can see it in his hand. Make sure I got it facing in there the right way. So there he is with a little bitty knife. And this one has a little holster that goes in the small of his back. So we can plug that in there. So that's how that works. And then the larger knife. This is the one that, like, once he's out of ammo and he's facing off against the G.I. Joe there in the jungle. These are supposed to be jungle troops, by the way. He can be like still hacking up some Joes with that. And that's got a little knife sheath on the left thigh. So let's go ahead and get it in there. And it looks like my knife sheath is gotten kind of, let me see if I can get this where you can see it. It looks like it's gotten kind of pressed in a little bit. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but it looks like it got kind of mashed in like that in the package. I don't think that that's going to cause too much of an issue. I just need to get it popped back out again. So I was hoping I could just kind of like use the knife itself to kind of pry it open and wedge it so it'll open up. It doesn't seem to want to be cooperating with me that way. So I'm going to actually try to bend it back a little bit with my fingernail. And there we go. That did the trick. And there's the knife and the sheath. And that is definitely a snug fit. Since the thing was kind of warped there. All right, so now we got all of his kind of secondary accessories into the figure. Let's talk about the backpack and the minigun, because those are probably the most important things, considering how this guy is a range viper. He's like a, you know, at least a offshoot of the range vipers, and that's supposed to be official. I mean, I don't know how you could do a guy with this helmet and not have him be a range viper. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is just obviously a range viper. Like, nobody else in Cobra has a skull helmet like that. Come on. And the brains. Oh man, look at that detail on the brains. They did a good job on that. So he's got this helmet that's made to look like a skull with an exposed brain. And I don't know like what the thought process was with that, other than to make him look completely terrifying. So you got this big dude coming at you in the jungle with a skull for a face and an exposed brain. Like he looks almost like Mars Attacks or something. And he's got this big old minigun. I don't know why they call these things miniguns when they're huge. And yeah, they're supposed to be, oh well, you put them on the helicopters, and they're small guns for helicopters, and yeah, but like that's when it's on a helicopter. When it's a guy carrying it around, it's not that many anymore, is it? I seem to be having a difficult time getting it into his hand because the fingers don't want to quite curl around it, but there, I got it to do the job. So it'd be funny if he just carried it around like that, like it was a pistol or something. But I don't think even a guy with like this kind of strength could carry this thing. You know, like Jesse Ventura used one of these miniguns, these handheld miniguns in Predator. I'm getting my Arnold movies mixed up. He used one of these in Predator. And somebody was talking about how, like, you know, it's not really very realistic because, you know, like a guy, you know, carrying like that gun and that much ammo is going to have like so much weight on him. And he basically have like, you know, like 30 seconds worth of ammo that he could carry. But these are like, you know, even though it's a military line, it's still kind of like a fantasy military line, you know? So, I think we can forgive a little bit of what do you call it? Drawing a blank on the term, and it's like a really common term. Suspension of disbelief. We can suspend our disbelief, I think, enough just to believe that this guy is badass, that he could carry around this. If Roadblock can carry around Ma Deuce, this guy can carry around this minigun. So, and this is supposed to be, again, like not a weapon that somebody carries around and shoots like a rifle. Like we imagine Roadblock carrying this thing around and shooting it like a rifle. Like, you know, shooting it from the hip like this. Like that's not, you know, that's not very plausible. In the G.I. Joe Retaliation movie, The Rock, who is a big muscular dude, you know, he was able to pick up the 50 cal and shoot it from the hip in one scene, but it's very brief. Like he wouldn't be carrying this thing around with him constantly like that, you know. But it's a toy. It's an action figure. Like we accept that Roadblock is superhumanly strong because it's fiction. It doesn't have to be realistic. And the same goes with the Grim Viper here. And I would say that like the Grim Viper even gets a little bit of a pass on that, simply because you know, since he is a Cobra and obviously a bit more of a fantastic character than Roadblock is supposed to be anyway. Like you look at Roadblock, you can tell, oh, that's a soldier. You look at this guy, he could be like a zombie or an alien from another planet or something. We don't know. So who knows what kind of like roids and hormones and chemicals. Dr. Mindbender is shooting into this guy to get him to be like as big and bad as all that. So yeah. So I'm gonna take this this hooded cape that I happen to have sitting over here. And for Bobby Wald, I'm gonna put this hooded cape on him so that we can see what he looks like wearing a hooded cape. Now I don't know how well this is gonna fit on him because obviously it's that big old snake head that's supposed to fit in this hood. But at least we can maybe get the general idea. This how well a cape might function on this guy. And I think I can maybe get it to kind of like fold down enough that, well, really, you put a hooded cape on this guy, he looks like Skeletor. I mean, that's my main takeaway that I'm bringing out of this. He's got a skull for a head. What do you want? Yeah. It's Minigun Skeletor for the Masters of the Universe collection. Battle Armor He-Man sold separately. And I do have Battle Armor He-Man over here, so we can see him next to Battle Armor He-Man. Why not? So yeah. I don't remember what color the cape was that the Terminator had in Salvation. So it might be fairly easy to just make a hooded cape yourself. I don't know if you've got any skills with sewing or anything like that, but I think that actually does look pretty cool. It does kind of bunch up a bit in the back with the backpack, but you could also just like put a small hole in the cape so the backpack peg would fit through it. But just so you get an idea as to what he might look like with a soft goods cape. Hopefully that'll give you some idea as to what you might need to be thinking about as far as what he needs. But the Grim Viper is a really cool figure. And for a guy like me who was not able to get that Range Viper, it does kind of scratch that Range Viper itch. Now I kind of feel like, at least I have that figure acknowledged in some way in my collection. Like I said, I never had the original vintage Range Viper, but I did have that 2000s repaint that I thought was really cool. So I always kind of had a soft spot for the Range Viper just because of that. But they did a really good job with them. And they did it. He was another one that in the 25th anniversary line, he was in one of those box sets, the Cobra Island box sets. And I was never able to get that figure, but I did get a couple of Rise of Cobra Range Vipers, which had a gray and green color scheme, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, the Range Viper is a guy who I kind of feel like he gets some love as far as like modern style figures. He seems to be one that they kind of tend to get back to, but at the same time, they always try to keep him kind of scarce for whatever reason. But at least this guy should be, again, another guy with a green color scheme, oddly enough. But I think this guy should be fairly easy for most people to get a hold of, hopefully. So you can add this guy to your collection. And like I said, technically he's supposed to be an army builder, so you could build a whole squad of these guys. But for me personally, he's going to be one of those like with the Saw Viper and the Desert Scorpion. I'll be opening up that figure soon. That'll be one for this is one for me that like I'm promoting him from being just a simple army builder character to being like a face character. This is going to be one of the ones that's more of an individual character. So I'll probably give him a different sort of name than just Grim Viper, but that's more of his function. I don't know what I'll call him yet, but I don't know. I call the Saw Viper. Maybe I could just call this guy the Grim Viper. They could be like best friends and hang out together and go to the bar and get drunk and hit on waitresses in their off time, and they seem like they would get along fairly well. So anyway, that's pretty much it for the Grim Viper. He is definitely a figure that I recommend if you're not thinking about, if you're collecting G.I. Joe Classified and you're not thinking about the Grim Viper, I would advise you to rethink that. I think the Grim Viper is definitely one that would fit in really well with anybody's G.I. Joe collection. Well, at least as far as like the classified figures go. He wouldn't go so well with 3 3/4 inch figures. He's a little too big for that. But yeah, if you're buying classified, you definitely want to get this guy. He's awesome. So we got one more of the basic figures. I've still got a bunch of like deluxe figures and 2-packs and things like that. I forgot to mention when I was talking about these in the previous installments, I still have the police officer that I need to open up. And I actually managed to get a second one of those recently. So I have 2 police officers, which is good because it's got 2 heads. So it can be like, 2 different characters. You got the black head and the Caucasian head. So, or, whatever. But I can have 2 cops since they both have different heads. And, Mainframe. Been looking forward to opening up this guy. I heard some people say that Mainframe is a little short. He's a little on the short side. And I'd seen people stand their Zorana figures next to him, and he's a little taller than Zorana. So a lot of people don't care for that because you want these 2 to be on the shelf together. But I'll see if I can dig up my Zorana and have her next to this guy and see what they look like. But I would want my my Mainframe and my Zorana to match up. I hadn't really looked too closely at him until just now, actually. And I noticed now that he's got 2 different heads. So one head has the cap and the headphones on it, and the other head has the one with the removable helmet. I would have thought just the cap and the headphones would have just been a separate piece, and you would just swap out the headgear. But no, that's a completely separate head, so that's interesting. So anyway, did they reuse tunnel rat legs on this guy? Is that why he's so short? Is Mainframe supposed to be a short guy? Because this is the first time hearing about it. And that would make me like this character even more, actually, if he was a short guy. He's one of those that, like, I've always really liked Mainframe, and he's not really been a particularly popular character, like there's not like a huge fan following for Mainframe like there is for, you got some characters that are a little more sort of obscure, but they still have like a devoted fan following. Like, for example, Shockwave here. Everybody knows I love Shockwave. And those of us who are fans of Shockwave, we love Shockwave. We're big fans of Shockwave. We love this character. He's not as well known as like Flint or somebody like that, or Clutch would be another one. Clutch is another character that I really like. But yeah, like, I don't know too many people who are big fans of Mainframe like I'm a big fan of Mainframe. So that's why I saved him for last. I'm looking forward to opening him up. And I did do a Mainframe custom like years ago. Like, he was one of the first customs that I did when I got my 3D printer, and I discovered Donman Art Collectibles, and he had a kit where you could make your own Mainframe figure. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm making Mainframe. But yeah, we'll get into him on the next episode. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I do want to do those Princess Bride figures, my Rob Reiner tribute series. So that should be coming up sometime soon. And I've got my Christmas figure. Why don't I go ahead and look at the calendar right now while I'm thinking about it? So, So today's the 18th. Tomorrow's the 19th. The 20th, I'm going to my sister's house for her Christmas party. 24th. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fezzik, Wesley, Buttercup, and I think I'm going to wait on doing the Princess Bride figures until after Christmas, only because I don't really want to break up the set. I want to do all those like within a week. So I think I'll wait till after Christmas on that. It looks like, let me check my schedule, my separate schedule. Maybe I've got my. Come on, you. I don't know if it would have been posted yet, but that would have been helpful, wouldn't it? Yep. So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to keep doing G.I. Joe. I'm going to do Mainframe tomorrow, which is the 19th. And then we'll open up some of these deluxe figures. And let's see, I should have, I don't know what order I want to do those in. Let's see, the police officer and the Desert Scorpion, Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer, Law and Order. Okay, so I will do the Christmas figure on December 24th is what I'm going to do. Christmas Eve, we'll open up the Christmas figure. And I think that might be all the G.I. Joes that I have right now, I think. So that means the Christmas figure would be the climax of the latest batch of G.I. Joe figures that I've got. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. I know I've got some Masters of the Universe. I've got some other monsters. I know I've got some Ninja Turtles. I know I've got, I've still got the Super 7 G.I. Joe figures too. And the Super 7 monsters. All right. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the Super 7 G.I. Joe figures. If not, probably not Christmas Day, but December 26th. Boxing Day will be unboxing day for those Super 7 G.I. Joe figures. And then I'll unbox the monsters on December 27th. And then we'll open up a few more monsters. I think that's what I'll do, because I know I got more monsters to open up. Not a huge lot of monsters, but a fairly big group of monsters. But then again, I've also got more stuff that should be coming from NECA at the front of the. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But for now, that's going to be I'll tell you what. I will definitely open up the Super 7 G.I. Joe Reaction Plus figures, and then the Reaction Plus monsters that I have the next episode after that. And then we'll play it by ear from there. But I'm thinking monsters is probably going to be the best thing for me to do. That's what I'm thinking will be the best thing for me to do. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe. And all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about the Grim Viper. We don't know too much about these characters, since they haven't been in any comics or cartoons or anything that I know of. But how do you plan on using this guy in your G.I. Joe universe? I'm kind of curious about that. Like I said, I've already got my own plans that I don't think match up with the official intention of how to use this guy. But I think he's going to be pretty cool in my universe. but yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that. Make sure you like and subscribe, though, because YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe. So I like to say like and subscribe. Like get that out there in the algorithm. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. It's almost time for me to start getting ready for work. So I'm going to go do that now. But you have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye.